So class, we're here at Dufief Elementary School and there's a sign behind me. I'm going to switch over and just kind of show you around what the school looks like. And as you can see in the front of the school, here is the bus route and the parking lot. In front is Dufief Drive, which is what goes through this neighborhood. What we're going to do is going to have a little walk and kind of think about, if you were a raindrop, where would you go and where would you travel? So we're going to see what the surface is going to look like. We're going to look at vegetation. We're going to look at, see if there's any evidence of erosion. In this case, probably mostly from running water that you studied earlier. So let's continue on as we go around the school, and we're going to see some of the highlights. And as you do that, you're going to look at your checklist and see how this score, well, the school scores for their backyard watershed walk. So here's the entrance to the school and the other end of the parking lot. And this is the edge of the property here. You can see that there is trees lining the back edge of the parking lot. Here is what they have, the kiss and ride or the park and ride, whatever you want to call it, in the side of the school. So you notice there's a few trees. Some of them have been cut down in the last few years, but again, this grassy field. So we're just going to kind of continue going to the other side. So here we are on the other side of the trees and the grassy area. Here is one side of that building. Here is another hard surface. And what I want you to think about again is, if you're a raindrop, like I mentioned before, where would you travel, fast and slow? What would you pick up as you would travel down, say for example, this parking lot? What kind of things would you pick up as you go down? And we're just going to kind of show you here. Here is a drain right here in the middle of the parking lot by that yellow sign. And if I go downhill, as we go down here, again, it's tree lined on this side, and then it goes pretty steeply down to the edge of this parking lot. So let's see what's at the end of this parking lot in the edge of the property. So here we are at the bottom of that parking lot. Here's the porta potty. There's a trash can you can see in the background. And here is a sidewalk that people use. This is the boundary of the school grounds. Here is a steep slope that leads up to the playing fields behind the school. And if you notice here, you can see what that rain will do when it starts gaining momentum and gaining speed, because it does have enough power to erode the side part of this sidewalk. And this has been a continuous problem all the years that we've been here. They keep filling it up and it just keeps eroding. Just to kind of show you that all that water from the parking lot gains that speed. It's not sinking into the ground, but again, running off. So at the edge of this blacktop on the side of the school, here's another drain. So far, none of the drains we've seen have been marked at all. Here is a fenced off playground for the day school, and here is the back of the school. Again, there's a few trees, again, mostly grass. We have not seen any downspouts from the main building itself, but here are some downspouts in these portables. And notice that this one is a little broken right here, and it goes straight into this grassy area. But unfortunately, this is still just going to fall straight down, but still into the grassy area. And each one of these portables has a similar type of downspout. So here we are at the back of that field. So here we go. I'm going to pan over. Here's the back of the school. Notice just a few trees at the edge of the back of the building, but here's the big playing field. And here is a drain. So all that water that's going through the field does eventually go into this drain. Of course, some of it will probably go down the slope. So here's that slope, kind of the back of the houses. You know, it's just, again, a bunch of grass. And right on the other side where that tree is in the background is where that sidewalk was, where I showed you where that erosion was happening by the sidewalk. So here's a better view of the back of the school. There's the other side of the portable. Notice that there is a downspout that's coming off the walkway, again, into the grass in those trees. And right here is really the only downspout that comes from some part of the roof. So most of the water, just like the drains, is going underground. And we're going to show you where that's going to go really, really soon. I'm just going to pan over here. Here's the other side of the school. Here is another hard surface and asphalt, and there's the basketball court. And I'm just going to kind of show you the edge. There's the backstop of another playground. And we're going to go over to where that fence is and where those trees are. That is the other side of the property. So here is that fourth side of the school. Here's that basketball court, that hard surface, some more grassy areas, another tree that's next to it. So they have some trees next to the building, but again, it's mostly grass. And by those dumpsters to the left, you see those blue tops, they do have a recycling bin. If we look at the edge of the property here, there's this fence that's tree lined. These are people's backyards. But if we kind of walk over to this area here, we're going to go to the retention pond. So a lot of this water that comes off the storm drains, it goes into the storm drains. And I'm going to show you another one right here on the edge of the parking lot, right here. They all go into this retention pond. One thing I want you to think about is, again, if you were a water's journey, you know, where would you travel and what would you pick up? Notice you really have not seen any trash around here, which is really nice. People still come here and use this in the afternoon or when it's a really nice day. Well, here's some trash right here. Here's a plastic bag. I'm going to take that back. And over here, I have no idea what that is, but it looks like a big plastic, almost like maybe a Halloween costume that someone ditched or something like that. But here is that back edge of the school. Here's the retention pond. Notice it's dry right now. Here is the inlet that goes into it. I'm just going to kind of go down into here. You can see there's still some water. So this pond will get filled up and get slowly released into another area, which I'm going to show you, and eventually into Muddy Branch Stream, which is about a half a mile from this school, if we look on the map. So let me go around the other side and let me show you where that water goes. So if we look, here is another inlet to this retention pond. We're on the other side of it. The first inlet I showed you was on the other side of this pond. And here's the second one that's probably coming from those grates that we saw in the field. And this is where it all goes. It goes straight into there. Now, again, I want you to think about the water's journey. Some of this, remember, would go across the grass and soak in. We call those permeable surfaces. When it's concrete or the asphalt, we call those impermeable. It's impossible for the water to go and filter through. So as it goes across those areas, it's going to pick up, for example, like concrete and asphalt, it's going to pick up anything in its path. Sediment, think about what can come from cars, and all of that eventually is going to go into these drains, into the nearest stream. Now again, we can still see some trash by the grate. There's a plastic water bottle right there. And here's soiled underwear, how lovely, that we can see that's all been washed by the water as it's being drained into this area. So here we are at the front of the school again. Here's the last drain I want to show you at the entrance of this school. And again, it's not marked, quite large, that empties everything that's coming across this parking lot. So here's the front of the school, some more trees. The front is pretty nicely landscaped, lots of trees and shrubs there, and a small garden that the kids also established a few years ago. So again, if you were to think about how water is impacted, think about its journey. Again, if it falls from the sky, where would it travel? What kind of surfaces would it go through? Where would it pick up speed and pick up sediment and other types of pollution? Where would it soak into the ground slowly and be released slowly into the stream? And more importantly, how all these things can impact the watershed, the streams that are nearby this school. So let's look at your schoolyard report card and see if we can give this school a score and see how it fares.